It's your girl, Professor Cinephile. Listen, I know it's been a little bit. Life been lifing, and the life gonna keep lifing, whether we want life to life or not. But I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. Um, and I am going to be talking with you today about um Trap by M. Night Shyamalan. Full disclosure, I am not a big fan of his, and I will henceforth refer to him as M. Night. I'm not a big fan of his, and part of why I am not a big fan of his is because his films are so predictable and he relies so heavily on the twist. Like he's made the twist his thing, like his signature. And the twist generally works best in films when it takes a while to figure it out. Kind of when it creeps on you in like maybe the last quarter or the last third of the film. M. Night gives you the twist in like 15 minutes or so. Like he's just like, here it is. This is what it's gonna be. And you're like, damn, like that was anticlimactic as hell, bro. Like, what are you doing? But anyway, all right. So Trap is a film that is actually based on a true story. Well, he borrowed from it, right? So in 1985, there was a thing called Operation Flagship, where law enforcement invited more than 3,000 so-called fugitives to come together at the Washington Convention Center. And by the end of that day, using undercover cops and all these kinds of things, they had like arrested like 144 people, 101 of them were in custody. So I don't know, 101 out of 3,000, that's not a huge amount, but we're going to let them do whatever. So anyway, they're saying that it was inspired by that. Okay, great. So you already know what's going to happen, right? So we get, I believe the brother's name is Josh Hartnett. He comes and, he's playing oh, I'm sorry, guys. Spoiler alert. Sometimes I just jump in and I forget to tell you all that I'm about to spoil this film for you. All right. So Josh Hartnett plays a serial killer who is trapped in a concert. He takes his daughter to a concert, not realizing that it was basically a ruse to lure him in and to try to find him, right? You would not think that he was, a serial killer based on, you know, all his like kind of profile, family man, husband, father, doting father takes his daughter to like this concert, like her favorite artist or what have you. But the whole film basically is about him realizing that they're looking for him, that they tried to trap him, and his way of getting out of it. Um, it wasn't good. There are people who, they like it. Here's the thing with M. Night's films. They're so hit or miss. I loved Lady in the Lake and I loved The Village. Those are like my two go-tos for M. Night films. Other people like The Sixth Sense. I also figured that out like within 15, 20 minutes. I was like, oh, this guy's dead. That was supposed to be the big twist. And that's like the biggest twist of all of his films. And once that one was done, you really can't do much. A lot of people like Signs, um, Mel Gibson, whatever. Hate him or love him. Some people like the Glass films with Samuel Jackson. He's playing this guy who like breaks all his bones and all those things. I thought people like those. I find that he tries to do a lot more than he's capable of because his dialogue is horrible. M. Night is definitely of all the like major filmmakers that people would name like 21st century filmmakers and things like that, he might be, aside from Tyler Perry, might be the worst when it comes to dialogue. And at least Tyler Perry's dialogue, you can kind of imagine that this is how people talk to each other. M. Night writes dialogue as though he's never spoken to another human being in his life. And I am very curious about that. Like, I'm somebody who's like, when someone is consistently like this, then I become intrigued and fascinated. Like, what is going on with you, bro? Like, why can't you write dialogue between people where it seems like you actually know what it's like to talk to another human being? Why is that your struggle? Why is that your portion? I don't understand. So Trap falls into that. Josh Hartnett is doing his very best to play this like sociopathic, like serial killer, but he's not given a whole lot, right? And then just some of the interactions and exchanges, you're like, are you kidding me, bro? So M. Night's daughter, who is an R&B singer in her own right, plays an R&B singer or like a pop star, I'll say, in this film. She's a terrible, terrible actress. I mean, golly. And if you're like older like me, you'll remember the artist Maya, who is still out there performing and things like that. She will remind you of Maya, and so it's really hard to separate the two. I'm watching this and thinking that it's like Maya in a film. This woman cannot act. I don't want her to quit her day job and think that she should give up R&B for acting. I want her to stick with her singing. She's a decent singer. The acting was awful. Um, the premise of the film, I guess being based on a true story, I guess it's okay, but otherwise it's really not good. Some people like it though. I mentioned it on social media and people were just like, oh, I actually like this one. This one was pretty good. I think the reason why people like this is because it is one of his more straightforward films, right? You figure out early on, Josh Hartnett is the serial killer. So it's pretty straightforward from there. And so when you go from there, you're like, all right, I already know what this is about. Now let's see how he figures this out. I think if there is a twist, it does come kind of towards the end related to his wife, but even that didn't seem like much of a M. Night kind of twist, just more like what would happen in the normal course of a thriller, maybe starring Morgan Freeman or Denzel Washington or something like that. Nothing like extra special. And also what's missing is a supernatural element. M. Night, I like him best when he incorporates some kind of supernatural or non-human entity into his films. And there isn't one here. There's no supernatural anything. There's no animals or weird beasts or any aliens or anything like that. And I think that that takes away from what I think maybe the whimsy that I do enjoy about M. Night. Like, that his film is ridiculous. This makes no sense. You figured out the twist. The dialogue is going to suck, but there's still going to be a bit of escapism and kind of here's the alternate reality, and I can allow for that. Um, he didn't give us that in Trap. And so Trap ends up presenting as a very straightforward film, a straightforward thriller, and then it makes it boring. Like it's almost like you've established yourself as having such a reputation, M. Night, that you actually can't just give us a straightforward film. I mean, you can, but does it work? I don't know. So I think that that's where Trap kind of falls apart and kind of loses us, even though it is probably one of the most straightforward films he's ever made. I'm gonna give Trap two hearts. Let's give it two hearts because I did make it through. I did like some parts of it, but overall, no, it's good. I don't ever need to see this film again. I won't revisit it like I do The Village or Lady in the Lake. Those films I will watch over and over and over. This one, I don't ever need to see it again. Shout out to Kid Cudi though, because I can't finish this without talking about Kid Cudi. I love him as an actor. This is the second film, like feature film that I've seen him in. I hope that we get to see more from Kid Cudi, the actor, because he's really fun. And when he comes on the scene, he kind of occupies a large space and he's got huge presence. And I really appreciate him as an actor. So yeah, I mean, I don't recommend you go see this. If you do, cool. You might actually like it. I just learned that maybe I'm just different. I don't know. Yeah, I got it. Take care.